knew we couldn't trust that Izzy Dame, the way she would be looking at Tatum Paxley. I knew it. I called it a couple weeks ago. Not that I was on some very thick branch. It was very thin. Well, it was a thick branch. It wasn't a thin branch. I wasn't out on some thin limb there. But what just happened? I'm kind of behind. I was setting things up. What just happened to finish out NXT Gold Rush night 1 in MSG? They're doing 2 nights. This was night 1 in the MSG Theater Room. First and foremost, welcome in. It's Pluggo's Triple P PLE post show. I'm doing NXT tonight because I don't know if I'm going to be available for the big PLE pay-per-view this weekend. I got some things on the docket, so I figured I would go one more because I had so much fun last night. So let's do it up again, as the kids say. Let's do it up again. So if you're in the chat, welcome in. If you're hanging out, all those fun things as I keep doing all the housekeeping work real quick and get myself set up. Because again, Izzy Dame, I knew it was coming. I didn't think it was going to be this soon. It was soon. We'll talk about it. I got to say, I love this MSG Theater Room. I love the crowd atmosphere. They had the towels going. The NXT Gold Rush towels looked a little bit like a Pittsburgh Steelers game, if you ask me. But I absolutely, without question, enjoyed myself. Like, I like the aesthetic. I like the look. And we started off absolutely hot. We started off with Canadian royalty, Chelsea Green, and Ethan Page, your North American and your United States champion, respectively, or however you want to word that, against Joe Hendry and Thea Hale for the AAA Mixed Tag Team Championship. So there's a lot of things going on here, right? There's the AAA Mixed Tag titles. Ethan Page has the North American Championship. You've got Chelsea Green as your new United States Championship. A lot of gold to be rushed right out the gate. I like Thea Hale and Joe Hendry together. I think it's a fun little spark. Thea Hale's this fun little firecracker spark plug. She plays off of Joe so well. You could think they've been tagging forever. They've only been tagging for a little while. Zach's in the house saying happy birthday to Mickey and Minnie Mouse. How old would they be today, Zach? They've got to be getting up there. They got to be at least 150, right? I feel like they've been around for a long time. I don't know. They feel old to me. Oh, as old as I feel today. NXT was fired tonight, Fernando. He's in the house saying, what's up, Fernando? Drop a super chat if you want to guarantee that you get your question or statement right on there. Let's talk about it. What was your favorite parts of the night? Make sure you hit that like, subscribe, share this out to everybody so that we could get it popping off tonight. Because I had a good time tonight with the old NXT Gold Rush. Like I said, I really enjoyed the atmosphere here. I thought it was well done. I'm sorry, I'm looking at a tweet right now where, I made a really bad joke. We'll talk about it later during the Javon Evans match on Twitter, so I'm kind of getting flamed a little bit, but that's okay. That's okay. That's what I do. So, we had the mixed tag match I was saying before Fernando so handsomely interrupted me, you stud. I really enjoy these two as a pairing. I think she plays off Joe super well. I think it's a great shot in the arm for Thea because I think she needed something after the Chase U stuff, and she was kind of in this no man's on this limbo. And Joe Hendry's officially an NXT. I don't know if he's officially an NXT superstar. He's officially a WWE superstar. His official WWE tenure started tonight, as this was his first match officially under contract in the WWE. He was not in the last time is now tournament like everybody had speculated. He was in the mixed tag match here, and he got a loss. They took a loss. They took a loss in Joe Hendry's first time, which I expected. I don't think you put them mixed tag titles on Chelsea and Ethan just to pull it off them so quick. I think right now they could do a lot more stuff with it than maybe Joe. And I think Joe Hendry ultimately has bigger things that they want to do with Joe in NXT. So I don't know if Thea and Joe is going to be something that sticks around for a long time. I don't think it's going to be some weird, like, nasty breakup type heel turn thing. I just think that they'll just go their separate ways, which is unfortunate because it was fun. It is fun. But ultimately, I think Joe Hendry signing with the WWE was like, hey, I'm not just going to do mixed tag matches on NXT, type stuff. But again, we'll see. I like the finish. I like the way that it ended where Thea had Chelsea Green in the Kimura. She's struggling to get out of it. And then, Ethan Page throws Joe Hendry Joe Hendry throws Ethan into, breaks up the pin. And then we hit the Unpretty Her and boom. It is way too soon to take the titles off, but that's it. We get it. Boom. Quick, fun, super hot open. The crowd was into it. The crowd pops for Joe Hendry everywhere he goes. The crowd pops for Chelsea Green wherever they go. She is over with the fans. She's fantastic with the fans. She's wonderful with the fans. Chelsea Green is an unsung MVP of 2025, in my opinion. Like, if we went down the list of, like, best female wrestlers, and is she on a list? Probably. If you go pretty deep on your list, if you keep it to a top 5, it might be hard to put her on there. But it's also hard to not tell the story of 2025 without talking about how impactful Chelsea Green has been throughout the run. Like, she plays every spot that she's given perfectly. She's a 2-time United States champion. That can't be understated. She is every moment it seems to be over with the fans. It seems she gets the heat or the cheer. Whatever she's expected to do, she gets it. She's kind of a tweener, Fernando. She's tweening a little bit in the sense that I think people, even though she's supposed to be a heel in this scenario, she gets cheered. I cheer her. I get excited for her. I'm you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if she's not already kind of a baby face. She is technically a heel, but like I said, I loved it. Great way to start the evening. Then we get a quick backstage segment. Now, again, if you're not an avid watcher of NXT, this is confusing to you. This would be confusing to, anybody. Like, you've got a NXT superstar in Kalani Jordan as your TNA Knockouts Women's Champion, and you have your former TNA Greatest Knockouts Women's Champion of all time in some circles, who's now in NXT fighting for the title that she once made, in the company. It's weird, right? Like, I didn't catch TNA this weekend. The Mike Santana treatment kind of turned me off a little bit. Not that I just didn't have time. So I'm not sure what they did, if they did anything on Thursday and Friday. Hello, Maria. Welcome to the chat. I don't know if they did anything Thursday and Friday to help this story along. But basically, Jordan's like, Kalani, you're just upset that, this is going to be your last week as, Knockouts champion before I take that title. It's weird, right? It's a weird thing where this is where we've come with the Knockouts Championship. Are you telling me there's no one in TNA that could face Kalani? Because I think, like, if we sign Jordan Grace to NXT, like, let her just go for some NXT. She's already had a few opportunities at NXT Gold. She hasn't been able to capture it yet. I know it's a little early to run back her and Blake maybe for the North American. Obviously, there were some decisions made tonight about the NXT Women's Championship. I don't know if you could throw Jordan Grace into there. But she's going for the Knockouts title. It's going to be next week, MSG Gold Rush Week 2. Kalani Grace. She should win. She has lost so many matches. She absolutely should win. Hey, Mrs. Pluggo's in the chat. Hey, baby. How are you, Mrs. Pluggo? Mrs. Pluggo brought me some amazing tacos for dinner today. They were fantastic. Shout out to Mrs. Pluggo for keeping your boy fed. But I digress. I'm thinking about those tacos. So now we get Cena is throughout the episode. They're showing, parts of the interview. They're showing, last time is now highlight reels. So they're showing that. Then they also cut really quick over to, which is foreshadowing, because as soon as I saw this, they had the calling, getting ready backstage in the stairwell for Tatum Paxley's match against JC Jane later on the night. And the way Izzy was looking at Tatum, I was like, I don't like it. I don't like the way you looking at my girl Tatum like that. And boy, was I right. I didn't like it. That damn Izzy Dame. I'm telling you what. But this is where we get to maybe, I don't know if I want to call it the biggest it's probably the biggest newsworthy thing coming out of NXT. John, I'm getting ahead of myself. Dang, now I want some tacos. Smart Mouse in the house, the man, the myth, the legend, Zach. There was a Thanksgiving themed taco where it had like turkey, dressing, all kinds of cool stuff. Cranberry sauce with it. It was fantastic. And I had like an ahi tuna taco and a shrimp and street corn taco. Oh man, I was living my best life while watching NXT Gold Rush. Maybe that's why I'm in such a good mood about what we saw tonight. That could be it. That could be why I'm so fired up this late in the day at the beginning of what is an Iron Man session of podcasting that I'm doing this week. I got all sorts of stuff going on this week. We're only in Tuesday, which is a good problem to have. Ava announces that at Deadline, we're getting the Iron Survivor matches back, which, if you're unfamiliar with the concept, it's a 25-minute match. I think it's 5 participants. Yeah, 5 participants. At the end of 25 minutes, whoever has the most pinfalls is the winner, is the Iron Survivor. There's penalties for getting pinned. It's a fun match. I really enjoy, like, when they first explained it, when they debuted this a couple years ago, I was confused on some of the rules, but I liked the idea of it. And then I watched it, and I really enjoyed the spread. Like, getting in there first is important. Like, you want to be the first one in this match because you want to be able to rack up pins. Because if you get in there towards the end, you only get like 5-10 minutes to put in some work. So I really enjoy those matches. I'm excited they're bringing them back. I'm excited it's going to be a Deadline here, December 6th. But she throws one caveat out there that I think everybody thinks is interesting. John Cena, the greatest of all time, is going to decide all the competitors for the Iron Survivor matches. So that's 10 competitors, 5 on the men, 5 on the women, and John Cena is going to pick all 5. All 10? They didn't necessarily say if he was picking both sides, but I assume he is. And they didn't say that he's going to be there. They just said that he was going to make an announcement. Now, we all know he's got 2 appearances left, Survivor Series and Saturday night's main event. That's all he's got left on the retirement tour. I don't know. It would be kind of a cool thing if they could swing him showing up in NXT one time, if they could talk him into it. I don't know if that would throw off the retirement tour 2 times left thing. So it'll probably be a video package. Logan James is in the house. Welcome in, Logan, saying Sean really trusts JC James to give a big spot at Saturday night's main event. Man, maybe. I think she'll have a spot there. Consider what happened tonight. She might have herself a time. But yeah, I don't know if Cena's going to show up or not. I don't know who he's going to pick. I do find it interesting though that he's making the picks, or as he should. He's been a main roster ready for over a year now. Or she should. Yeah. JPJ's in the house, my brother from another mother. What's good, man? Just talking some Gold Rush, dude. What you think of Gold Rush? Logan, what you think of Gold Rush? Everybody tell me what you thought about Gold Rush. There was a lot of gold. There's some terrible towels in the crowd, JPJ. I know that fired you up because you're such a lover of the Pittsburgh Steelers. I digress. His Patriots are like 9-2 right now. It's fucking wild. But yeah, I don't know who necessarily Cena's going to pick. I would assume it's usual suspects. I guess we can now take out Ricky Saints and Obafemi into that mix because they're getting a world title match or an NXT championship match at Deadline. So you eliminate those 2 from the mix. Tavion Heights made his presence known tonight and said that he was going to be the Iron Survivor after he did a backstage segment and, you know, talking about his 2025, what the no quarter catch crew meant to him. And then Josh Briggs beats him up. Josh Briggs just doesn't do it for me. I need somebody to explain to me the lore that is Josh Briggs. It's not that like he's bad or anything. I look at him and I just go, not for me. But it doesn't mean he's bad. He's just not for me. But so Tavion declares that if he could get picked by Cena, if he even said it, he goes, if John Cena could pick me just to be in the match, that's all the approval that he needs. That's what we're going to get I don't know how soon they're going to make the announcement next week, or we're going to get a few more of these spots. Is John Cena only going to pick baby faces? Is he only going to pick good guys that do it the right way? Or is he going to pick Josh Briggs? Is he going to throw Josh Briggs in there for some ruthless aggression, right? Like, does he throw Alexis King in there, right? Like, because he says some shit like, I don't necessarily like the way you operate, but I do have respect for what your father did for the business or something. You know what I mean? Like, he's got to throw some people in there that like John Cena necessarily wouldn't vibe with as a face. And then JPJ said Trick, Briggs, Heights, and Bourne. Yeah, I think Trick and Bourne, they got a match next week at Gold Rush. And then, yeah, I think you'll get Briggs and Heights maybe at some point down the line. So that's 4. So you need one more. Is it 4 or 5, JPJ? I can't quite remember. I think it was 5, right? It's 5 because every 5 minutes or something, or every 3 minutes or something crazy like that. I can't remember how many they had in the mind. But either way, that's not a bad 4 if you want to make somebody new, and they need to make somebody new in that men's division. Yeah, I think it's 5 as well. So yeah, I don't know if that would be wild if John Cena showed up at the theater at MSG after saying the last time he was going to. Would you as a fan, would you be pissed if you were like, I went to John Cena's last appearance at Madison Square Garden and then he showed up at NXT in MSG one last time. Javon's a guy after tonight. Like, I just want to think after this week, like, get him out, like, go main roster it up, buddy. But, you know, he's still down there. He's still killing it. Dude's no selling Gunther beating his ass on Monday night. Like, dude just bounced right back. That's the joke I made on social media. It's probably going to get me flamed. But then here's where we get to what I thought was a really good time. We get Zarya backstage asking Soul if she's ready. Are you sure you're ready? You're not quite medically cleared. But you're just barely medically cleared. Are you good? Soul's like, yep, I got to get the championship back. And we go right into Blake Monroe, right into Sol Ruca for the North American Women's Championship. This match was well put together. It was perfectly escalated throughout the match. Like, it was like they did not tell the knee story early, so it didn't drag early. They let Soul be Soul early on, getting her offense in, looking like the knee is not going to be a problem, and then it gradually became a problem, and Blake gradually, as she started to wear it, because again, in storyline mode, Soul's injured. She's got a knee brace on, so she's going to wear down faster. And she did, and Blake masterfully took care of the knee, worked it over. That moonsault off of one leg to the outside that pretty much was like a hell of a cool move for Sol Ruca, but it ultimately kind of did her in there because then she could barely move. So it was like high risk. It was high risk, high reward, but there was no reward. I don't know why she did it. I think even Booker T, who I tend to disagree with from time to time on commentary, was like, I don't know why you did that. But Sol Ruca has come such a long way from like when she first excuse me. I'm dying here. I'm getting choked up just talking about it. Sol Ruca has come such a long way from when she first debuted. She's like, she got a couple of cool moves, man. There's a couple of cool moves. Like, there's some potential here to being able to tell such a good story and play the knee angle up and play the fighting champion and do all that. She put, and Blake, to Blake's credit, and I said this the other day, I wrote about it. It's up right now on lovewrestling.ca. I wrote about Blake Monroe last week with that interview she did where she interviewed herself. I think Blake Monroe has been a great dance partner for Soul, into the sense of like, Blake has hit the ground running in NXT. I think she has been the most seamless transition from AEW to NXT or to WWE, not named Cody Rhodes. Like, I think everything that they've done with her has hit really well. It's been really well presented. Like, Ricky Saints is a close second for me on that, but I still think there was a few things with Ricky where he was still kind of figuring it out, but I think she just, boom, seamlessly hit the ground running. So she works that knee. She hits that Boston Crab. Shout out to Boston. My guy, JPJ, he's from Boston. You guys know that, though, because you watch Between Two Beards on Thursday nights at 8 p.m. And we got a good one this week. We got a really good one this week. You'll have to tune into our socials at B2 Beards to find out. She hits her to that Boston Crab. She starts to take the knee brace off, and she starts wrenching it back. And Zaria's losing her freaking mind at the ringside area. She's rooting on Soul. Zach's working on the thumbnail as we speak because it's a good one, guys. It's a really good one. It's always a good one, but this one's on the upper tier. So Zaria's losing her freaking mind. She's looking for a towel because she goes to do the towel thing, the throw in the towel thing. But she holds back, but then Blake wrenches it one more time, and Zaria just can't do it. She's beside herself. She throws it in the ring. The ref rings the bell. Blake Monroe is still your North American Championship champion. And I gotta be honest, like, my notes for that, like, this match ruled. Like, I'm trying to, like, give you more. Just go watch it if you didn't. I'm assuming since you're here, you watched. It was great. I didn't think Soul was going to win it. And then I'll tie it all back together. I really thought tonight was going to be the night that we saw Zaria turn on Soul Ruka, because Soul's been... Listen, I know that it makes sense for Soul to turn on Zaria because Zaria lost her championships, yada, 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 but Soul's been kind of a jerk. Zaria's really all she's ever done is care about Soul, love Soul, care about her knee. She even said, like, later on, they had a little back and forth. She's like, I threw in the towel because you didn't have it. And Soul's like, I absolutely had it. Why'd you throw in the towel? I was going to get the win. And Zaria's like, you just got barely cleared, lady. Like, if you would have stayed in this match, you're back on the shelf. You can't win championships when you're on the shelf injured. Your pride's going to get in your way. And then Soul's like, well, my pride, blah, 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 won me these championships. You shouldn't have done it type deal. And then Zaria's like, fine, whatever. I'm sorry for caring. I'm a terrible person for caring. Let me just focus on the Speed Championship next week, getting that back for us. And then Soul throws the towel and goes, whatever. So I think some shit's going to go down. Rosario is not winning that Speed Championship next week. Again, not a massive limb here I'm going on, but yeah, because I think the split is coming. Fernando said, like, this, just turn her already. Yeah, I think it's time. I think we could get a fun, like, we're at, okay, so the next pay-per-view would be Deadline. So if there's something that goes down next week, then we could have a match at Deadline. They could spin that into something at New Year's Eve if they really wanted to. Like, they could stretch this thing out for a little bit. They don't even have to wrestle that quick. If Soul's really not 100%, you could easily run that for a while, and there's a lot of good stuff there. Speaking of good stuff, or bad stuff, I'll ask the chat if anybody's hanging out in the chat. Let me know what you think about Obafemi still being in NXT. I'll let it sit for a minute. I'll wait, guys. Because the Rula came back last week, right? And I don't know if it was bad timed. I don't know if it was bad timing or they meant to do it that way. His music hit. We saw kind of like his shadow and then like the feed cut. So it must have been the way they wanted to do it. But he's back. Ricky Saints is, he comes out. He's saying, I'm not surprised that you're back. Zach saying it seems like he would have made the Cena tournament more interesting. And that's the thing. And I kind of talked about it last night during the last night in MSG for Cena. There was a lot of speculation that Obafemi was going to be in that tournament because John said he was going to give it to give opportunity to guys that need it, that show, ruthless aggression, all this, blah, blah, blah. Oba would have been a great guy. Oba would have been a guy, though, that I think if he was in that tournament and he would have lost early, that I think people would have been disappointed. He's also a guy that, and I say this, like, if he would have won said tournament and he would have been the one to face John Cena, like, let's say they went with, like, we're going to make a dude, and then Oba fizzles out in June of 2026, they're going to be like, we wasted the Cena run on this guy. And I'm not saying that Oba's going to fail. I don't want him to fail. I'm just saying it is possible that an NXT call-up doesn't go the way we think it should go. Not that we don't have a track record a mile long of that happening before. So I think, yeah, and so Oba's back. I don't necessarily know how I feel about it, but we did just kind of talk about the Iron Survivor match not having enough people. Like not having enough, so maybe they're like, we don't really have a lot at the top. Trick is almost on his way out as well. Trick's one of those guys that doesn't need to be there. Oba's a guy that doesn't. Shit, Ricky Saints isn't a guy that needs to be in NXT right now, but you do have a television program. You do need to make something happen. The women's division right now is clearly head and shoulders above the men's, and that's not a slight. That's just what we have right now. We have Blake Monroe, Jordan Grace, Kalani Jordan, Tatum Paxley, Izzy Dame's going to be a player now. JC Jane just won the NXT Women's. It's a lot going on at the top, and I'm sure I missed a few names. Yeah, Sol Rugazari. I just talked about them. So yeah, Oba's back. He's I'm laughing because the way he said this was like, I didn't want to be a part of the NXT TNA invasion. I didn't want to be a part of the you and Trick trying to outdress each other stuff. And it's like, really? 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 Like, you didn't want to be a part of the TNA NXT invasion stuff? Like, you just bury that? No. Like, but again, that's Oba, right? That's how Oba operates. He thinks only in terms of NXT championships. And Ricky said, I'm not surprised you came back. I'm not surprised you went after me. People were surprised when I beat you, but I wasn't surprised because I'm Ricky Saints. And if you want it, you got it. NXT deadline, me and you, North American or NXT championship match, which I think is great. Fernando, that's a wonderful point. They are afraid of younger talent. I'll say this. I don't know if Triple H is afraid of younger talent. I think he has this idea that, like, we have to push him a certain way and we can't. WWE has a really tough time with, like, A, pulling the trigger on younger talent, but B, like, this. Everybody has to be pushed a certain way. Like, everything has to be big, and he has to tell these long stories, and, like, people can't lose. Like, but people should lose. It's a combat sport, like, and you write it, so people should be able to lose, and us go, that person's not buried. That's okay. So, like I said, the issue with Oba is if we push him to the moon and give him the John Cena rub. Okay, I don't know what you do there then. I think of, like, the United States Championship picture would be a nice way to introduce Obafemi for a little while. The Intercontinental Championship picture, albeit as now it runs through John Cena, but before, when he wasn't doing anything, that might have been a fun spot for Obafemi. SmackDown desperately could use a shot of adrenaline in the terms of some new faces and some new, like, interactions, because let's be honest, SmackDown for me has been the more stale of the three programs, and they're going back to 3 hours. They're going back to 3 hours on a Friday night. I don't think I'm ready for that. I don't think I'm going to have to be Saturday morning SmackDown highlights guy, because I don't know. That just feels wrong. But either way, Ricky Saints gives Obafemi the spot. Trick Williams comes out and says, I told you, Ricky, you ain't listening. When I'm done with you, I'm getting back my NXT championship. And then Miles Bourne comes out and cracks him with a chair and said, payback's a bitch. Because he's getting his payback for Ricky or for Trick Williams attacking him. And then he tells both Oba and Ricky, guys, do your thing at Deadline. I'm going to be the Iron Survivor. I'll see you at New Year's Evil, whoever comes out on top. So Miles Bourne's staking his claim to the Iron Survivor. So right now we've seen Tavion stake his claim and Miles stake his claim. Do we assume that they're in? I would assume that they're in. But they got to be picked by John Cena. Right? So you can tell me you're in all you want. But you got to be picked by the GOAT. Which then this spirals into, and I don't know why I laughed as hard as, I do know why I laughed as hard as I did because I'm a bad person. But there's a backstage segment with Ava and Miles. And Ava, Miles is like, hey, I told you I wouldn't get involved last week. You didn't say anything about this week. And Ava's like, do you even listen? Yeah. He does listen. He is hard of hearing. He is deaf, famously. Ava, calm down. But she's like on the phone doing whatever. And she's like, if you want a match with Trick so bad, I'll give it to you next week. And we had that. And I went, oh, okay. All right. And then Briggs and Heights continue to brawl backstage, throughout the show. Again, that's fine. It is what it is. I don't necessarily mind, but okay. They brawl. NXT locker room and backstage area is the most dangerous place on the planet. I get it. We get it. Then we get the tag match. And I'm going to admit something to you guys here. It's a, personal, we're all friends here, right? Like I could be honest with you. It took me a lot longer than I care to admit on who was in the Dark State tag team. It was Osiris and Dean, right? I don't even know. Lennox. It was Dion Lennox. Dean. I don't know why I said Dean. And the other thing, before we get into like the crux of the match, I'm sitting there going, you're Dark State. You're not supposed to care about anything or anyone. Why wouldn't you as a foursome? You're four guys. There's two out there. Why wouldn't all four of you just jump Slater, Javon Evans, and not have a match, keep your titles, and force Ava to do something? Like force Ava to be like, you have to, blah, blah, blah. You need to defend it. Every time we book you in a match, you guys, like, why wouldn't you just, as soon as the bell rings, jump whoever you're facing and just automatically retain? Which is a silly thing for me to say now. But again, I'm just going by what I wrote down as I'm watching. Because they beat Javon Evans and Leon Slater clean. Like, there was the push. There was the push off the top ropes, but that was within the match. That was the guy that was in the match. Shout out to Javon Evans, by the way, for 24 hours prior, got his ass kicked by Gunther. And he's out there, no sell. I wish I was 21 years old and could just get beat up by the ring general and then, like, it not faze me. Like, if Gunther looked at me wrong, I'd be sore for days. Ask JPJ. Gunther looked at me in Cleveland when we interviewed him, and I couldn't speak, and we had to edit out the interview because I had to, like, regroup. So I couldn't imagine getting beat up by the man in the Last Time Is Now tournament, which he had a hell of a showing. I talked about last night. It was absolutely fantastic. Yeah, noted Lincoln Park fan Gunther. That is true. That is factual. And I went, sir, let me restart. Because he was an absolute nice, he was a gentleman, but he is intimidating as fuck. Okay? I don't think I've ever stumbled that bad in an interview ever. And I just was like, you're supposed to words, JPJ, and I just completely, like, yeah, that was something. But that's what I'm saying. Like, shout out to Leon Slater and Javon Evans are fantastic. But of course, the WWE wouldn't let a TNA wrestler eat. They wouldn't let Leon eat here and him become a double champ. We couldn't get him and Javon as tag champs. Everybody wanted it. We all were clamoring for it. And I did get through it, Fernando. Shout out to JPJ. He carried most of that one. But he's an intimidating guy. Again, super nice guy. He was very cool. Understood the assignment, the gimmick that we were running, the Between Two Beards gimmick that JPJ and I run. He dug it. But just like when I got started and I looked at him, because when I got started, he got into the mode, right, where he's in Gunther mode. And I'm like, shit. This dude's looking at me, and if I screw this up, I don't think he would find it as humorous as, say, Bailey would think it was funny if I goofed. Or, like, Braun Breaker was there, and this was before he was this Braun Breaker. Like, yeah. So, I have that. I'm sure that's on the chopping block somewhere, and me going, restart. I don't know if they've ruined the match, Fernando. I thought the match was fun. I thought the match was good. I thought everybody involved showed out, but it was just like that was a pretty non-dark state match to have, right? It wasn't a ton of like interference. Yeah, the other two guys were on the outside, but they didn't really do much. It was really 2-on-2 throughout all of it. Everybody was hoping. I thought this was going to be the moment that we had at Gold Rush where we're like, here we go. Boom. Like new tag champs. Javon got. This says to me Javon is definitely on his way out. And I think the tag team of him and Slater isn't something that they want to put. I think it's fun based off of the chemistry they had at Bound for Glory. It's something fun that they put him in. But how much bigger did Gunther look in person, Fernando? Not that much bigger. That's the thing. Like, he didn't, like, if you look at the graphic, if you watch the interview, like, he's not that much taller than me. His presence, though, you would think he's 7'5". You know what I'm saying? Like, he has a way that he carries himself, like, getting an opportunity to actually stand next to him in person and talk to him. Like, he just carries himself as a dude that's just, like don't fuck with me. But again, like I said, and I preface it to say, super nice guy. He was very, very respectful, very nice, but when the interview hits, he's Gunther, right? Like he's doing the Gunther stuff. So he's quick, short, good answers. Like, yeah. But I was just like, it could have also been the 3 energy drinks I had that morning. That was exhausting. That week was exhausting. But anyway, then we get a quick backstage with Ren Sinclair and Kendall Gray ahead of the Evolve Championship match with her and Laney Reed next week. The whole "Are you ready for it? I'm ready for it," blah 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 type stuff. And then we get my head scratcher of the night. Now, anybody that wants to tell me any different, go right ahead. I don't watch LFG, and it's not because I'm sure it's fine. There's only so much time in the week. There's only so many wrestling programs that I can fit into my busy schedule. I'm sure if I sat and binge watched it, I'd have a good time. But we had the Progressive Spotlight of the Week, Shiloh Hill. That was it. That was something. I don't know. I watched it and I was confused the entire time. He's a nerdy football playing conspiracy theory, quantum physics reading up guy. Like I was confused. And again, that could be his thing. That could be what makes him the best. But he's like, I went to Stanford, but I also hated school and I never went to school. And how did I pull that off? I took online classes and did everything in a week and tested out of everything. And instead of worrying about school, I looked up, conspiracy theories and quantum physics, but I also love football and I suplexed my starting tight end and my coach really, really hated it. But it's really, really awesome. This is just the beginning. And I was just like, okay, I need more because I don't know who that is because I don't watch LFG. NXT fans who watch LFG probably know more about it, probably think that maybe there's more to the gimmick, and he's just like typing away at a computer. for most of it, and I was just like, all right, man, like, cool. But at the end of the day, I was really, as he said, by the way, he said really, like he said it a million times. And he had these bug eyes going for him. Like he was like this the whole time. So, really, I'm like, I was just super kid. Is this Shiloh? Dude's real name is Thunder Justice. What a waste of a shoot name. That's his real name? Listen, I'm sure the guy is awesome. I'm sure he's a great guy. It's just, as I'm watching that, I was just like, I'm not sure what's going on here. Like, are we going to lead into the conspiracy? He's like a nerdy, fun-loving, conspiracy-loving jock. He's all of the things that, okay, cool, man. And, he liked to skip school. And he'd like to go run around in the woods. He wouldn't get on the bus. He'd go play in the woods. I was like, what? What is that? What do you mean you just didn't get on the bus and just went and played at the woods and went to school for 32 days? I don't know if anybody in the chat has kids, and I don't know if anybody in the chat has kids that are in school. But if your child only went to school for 32 days out of the year and it wasn't some medical reason, you're going to jail. Like, they don't play around with that kind of stuff. They keep tabs on that. Not that I've ever run risk of my kids having that problem, but I know for a fact that they will call you and be like, hey, your kid didn't come to school today. Is everything okay? And you'll go, oh, yeah, sorry, I forgot to call you and let you know that, they're sick. My bad. He's with me. Or I had a teacher call last week and say, hey, we saw Owen was absent today. Is he okay? And we're like, no, he definitely went to school. And they're like, oh, our mistake. We screwed that up. Like, he is here. We forgot to mark him present. So that's me going, if I'm Shiloh Hill's mother, that school called, there's 180 days of school a year. You went to school 32 days out of 180. Your mother got called 150 times asking where you were. What did she just go? I don't know where they went, and hung up the phone? She didn't leave. She didn't have to leave work to come get you, to come find you. If my mother had to leave work because I skipped school 150 times in a year, one, she'd have got fired, and two, I would have gotten an ass whooping. Now, it's a different time, and I'm a little older than Shiloh, but I can't imagine the Hill family was really excited about going chasing their kids through the woods every morning. I'd say, get your ass on that bus. I am venting way too much about a guy that gave me a progressive spotlight segment that is an LFG winner. But I just found some holes in that story as a parent that just, I was like, come on, man, that doesn't even make sense. That means that you also just told me that your parents they don't care about you, which I'm sure will come out in one of your vignettes. Like, my parents didn't care if I ran around in the woods, man. They never knew where I was. And why are you reading quantum physics books as a kid, man? You ever seen that Men in Black where he's like, them books are way too advanced for her? Anyway, I digress. I vamped. I ranted. I raved. Shouldn't have, because Zach's in the chat. I just have a feeling this is going to end up on social media tomorrow, and I'm going to be like, yeah, I stand by it, Shiloh Hill. Your parents probably were doing the best they could. You're a degenerate. I swear to God, if my kid's school calls me 150, I get messages from the school, and I'm like, okay, I get a lot of messages from the school, and I'm just like, man, that's a lot of stuff. That's a lot of information. Add 150 no-call, no-show calls on it? Man, get a job. Glad you got this NXT contract, buddy. I mean, you played for Stanford. I can go down that. I can go to that road too. Go Irish, baby. Stanford moving their game to 10:30 Eastern time because you're trying to time zone Notre Dame out of the playoffs. Shame on you, Stanford. You're better than that. But that's okay. I digress. Because we're at the main event, folks. And this main event, I gotta say, Tatum Paxley and JC Jane had amazing chemistry. Fantastic back and forth. This thing started out the gate cooking. Everything just worked. Tatum Paxley, for people that maybe are getting familiar with her now that she was your NXT champion, is really good. JC Jane is criminally underrated to the point, like I think we know now, but she's fantastic. They cooked this whole time. And this whole time, Izzy is trying to get chairs in the ring. She's trying to get Tatum to just take that next step because that's what, hey, secure your championship. Here's a chair. Tatum throws it back. Here's a belt. Tatum doesn't want it, which is commendable, which is respectable, because Tatum is just excited that she's got friends. She's got people that like her. Granted, I've always said I don't trust Izzy. I don't trust the calling, and I was right. There was, JC Jane introduces the title at the end there. Just like all this fun, like it was just a fun main event. It was a fun sprint. It ends with, and I will say this. I think it was early. I think it was a little early. I know Tatum has the title defense that she gave to Lola Vice around Halloween Havoc, or after Halloween Havoc, because she brought out the wheel. So she has one under her belt. But again, I really kind of wanted them to play up the idea that Tatum's like, I gotta tighten it up next week. Like, I'm gonna give you this shot, JCJ. This will be your last one. But then I gotta tighten it up. And I wanted to see her struggle with it a little more, like maybe next week. Oh, you got JC Jane, you took care of it. Or even if Izzy helped her somehow, like, and we just got another one where then all of a sudden somebody comes up and they're like, well, Tatum just gives away title shots, and then she kind of struggles with it for like maybe one more time. But they pulled the trigger. For some reason, at the end there, Sean Spears, and whatever the guy that runs with Sean Spears' name is, I don't know it, and I didn't look it up, and I didn't do my research, because I gotta be honest with you, every time I watch calling segments, he's kind of a non-factor. He's just kind of there for me, to me. So like, I haven't invested into Sean Spears' sidekick. I don't know who it is, but they blocked Tatum Paxley from going into that ring, and Izzy just takes her out, clocks her. Just absolutely lays her out, wrecks her. She's done. And then they just dump her lifeless body back into the ring, and JC Jane gets the win. And she's a 2-time NXT Women's Champion. The Tatum Paxley experiment is over. And my only issue with that is, from the beginning, Izzy Dame had to have viewed Tatum Paxley as less than her and not on her level. So why would you cost who you perceive as less than and not enough? Why would you give up have her lose the championship and put it on JC Jane, who we've seen all year, for better or for worse, put on matches and be a formidable opponent? And she has 2 other people at her beck and call. So you kind of just stack the deck. If your ultimate goal in NXT, Izzy, is to win the NXT Women's Championship, I think you made a tactical error here. Why wouldn't you keep it on Tatum and keep growing that relationship, and then figure out a way to have let's have a friendly match? It would be really fun. I know Tatum had said no, but how many times in life have you said you weren't going to do something and then you ended up doing it, or talked yourself into something? There's a way to tell that story, but it makes Izzy look stupid. What, were you jealous that she had the championship? Yeah, you were. You're telling me that jealousy hit its head tonight after a month of her having the belt? You were just like, I'm going to let JC Jane have it back, because we all know how that went. The whole NXT and TNA roster hated JC Jane because that title, she continually figured out ways to keep it. And now we got to listen to that shit next week when she has her celebration. I'm sure she's going to have a celebration. It hasn't been officially announced, but I'm sure she's going to come out and talk some smack. I'm sure Tatum's going to have... Tatum has now increased her babyface stock. But yeah, that ended kind of for me, I went, well, Izzy, you kind of just screwed yourself there. why would I want to see Izzy versus JC? Like, does Izzy give, like, oh, because you helped me win it, I'll give you a shot? It was a questionable way to end the Tatum Paxley reign, unless we plan on letting Tatum win it back, but then she becomes a 2-time champ. We just anointed, and there's not many 2-time NXT Women's Champions, so it'd be interesting if Tatum made that list quickly. Iron Survivor's obviously sitting there, where Izzy could be in that. Tatum could be in that. Fallon Henley's probably in that. You could put Sol, Ruka, Zarya. There's a lot more women you could put in that, so I don't even know if that's where we go, if that's even a slam dunk. And if you did put Izzy, is she winning the thing and going to challenge Jay? I don't know. That was questionable to me. I thought everything, like, match was awesome. I thought the action was great. I thought the ladies had a great back and forth. I just don't understand the decision that they made to do it right here. And I don't know why Izzy would make it tonight. Like, they just had to have a moment at the end of NXT Gold Rush that we were all talking about, because they didn't give us any other moments really in terms of, like, I'm assuming next week's Gold Rush is going to blow. You know, there's going to be a lot going on. You got Kalani and Jordan Grace. You got the Evolve Championships, Kendall Grace, the Sean Legacy, Jackson Drake. They're doing their thing. So, yeah, and then you got Miles Bourne, Trick Williams. There's a lot of stuff going on next week, too, so maybe we'll get some more stuff out of it. But, yeah, it just ended in a weird, like, I don't quite understand it, but, hey, it is what it is. We are at the end of Gold Rush. It is Tuesday night. I'll let you guys get back to your excitement of Tuesday nights, and I'm probably going to go to bed here shortly, but it was a fun night. It's been fun, and it's been super fun getting to do these. I plan on doing more of these as long as the bosses that be will allow me to. Hopefully in the future I'll bring on some more guests. I just didn't have anything lined up, and I kind of just wanted to do these on a whim. But like I always say, you can find me at Pluggo on all your social media platforms. You search Pluggo, my face will pop up. Like I was said, tomorrow I will be hanging out with the Ope 3-Way with JPJ. So go to the Ope 3-Way pages to find out where that's going to be. And then I will be probably doing an AEW Dynamite post show over on our friends of the Mark Order. That is on the works now. Thursday night between Two Beards. Go to @B2Beards on all social media platforms to see what we got going on there. Then Friday night, I'm going to be kicking it with the Kicking Out Podcast Boys as we preview and predict Full Gear. Saturday morning, Fexy time for Exposure is back. Me and Blair are going to be talking the LPW Revolution Rumble happening this Saturday. We're going to get you ready for that and everything else on the independent scene. And then I will be over on the Main Event Wrestling Network doing the Main Event Mixer, talking about Full Gear, and then I got some other stuff lined up for Saturday night. I will let you know when it drops. I got a busy week this week. I think I'm going to go 7 shows in 7 days, man. Why not? But make sure you follow everyone at Love Wrestling. Make sure you follow everything at Love Wrestling, at Love Wrestling CA on all social media platforms. Everything. We got wrestling matches coming up. More Revolution Rumble announcements are dropping. We got content. Boris just did a 40-hour stream the other day. There's a ton of content to circle back on that. That was a lot of fun. We got the brunch gimmick. We got Quizplex probably coming up soon. I got to imagine Smartmouth over there has got some things happening in the works for the next Quizplex. We got all sorts of fun stuff. So keep it locked here. Have a good night. You guys keep it safe. I'm vamping because every time I close the show, I forget to push the buttons. So I'm going to push the buttons and have a great night. We'll see you next week for NXT Gold Rush Week 2.